Guys, the day has finally came. My camera has returned from warranty. I finally have my nice camera back. I'm no longer limited to filming with just a GoPro, which I was since March 6th. It was supposed to be a 5 to 10 business day send in and return from my camera. It is over a month and a half later and I have finally received it back. But all is good now. This is the last video where I was restricted to just using a GoPro. Hope you guys enjoyed. It's a really cool video in my opinion because I give a lot of great tips and talk about how you guys can find fish going to a new lake. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another episode. This is going to be the very last video I make before finally getting my camera back. So it's just going to be a strictly fishing video. And what I wanted to talk about today, what I wanted to really cover in this video is how to, and at least how I do it, how to break down and adjust and really figure out a new lake. I got sick of fishing the same 3 lakes that I've been fishing for the last 3 years while at college. So I decided to trailer it about an hour south in southern Indiana and fish this small little 200-acre reservoir. Water temps are in the high 50s, low 60s. And these bass are obviously starting to spawn. We got muddy water, so I'm gonna try to break down exactly what I look for when going to a new lake and how I locate and then catch fish. There's one. Well, there's the first fish right at the ramp. That's all you gotta do. That's all you got to do. So again, once you're at a new lake, you put the pieces together. Crankbait, Rocky Point, off that lay down that was coming in the water. Biggest tips I can give you guys, especially on highly pressured bodies of water. I know a lot of you guys fish highly pressured bodies of water, like small reservoirs, even big lakes. There's always going to be fish around the boat launches. And that's for one reason and one reason only, and that being fishing tournaments. As you can see, I started at the ramp at this new lake, caught a fish right there. The reason ramps are such a good place to start to fish at is because what does everyone do? They go out, they fish for their 5 biggest, and then they bring them back. Those fish, a lot of times, they're not going to leave that release area. Over time, they'll disperse out, but especially if there's a constant flow of tournaments, there's a constant flow of bass being released right here at the ramp. So every time I go to a new lake, I've even won tournaments on lakes I've never been before, fishing literally right around the access point. And it's intelligently named release fish because people have tournaments, and what do? They release the fish right there. So ramps are a good place to start. Outside of ramps, hopefully if I can catch one on the ramp, that I can get dialed into a lure that they're gonna eat. Like today, at least I got one. It was a little one, but still I know they're gonna hit a crankbait. Probably not spawning just yet, meaning they're still feeding, they're still milling around looking for food. Once the spawn starts, the fish are going to be in all 3 different stages of the spawn. There's going to be pre-spawn fish, there's going to be post-spawn fish, there's going to be spawning fish. But if they're still in the pre-spawn, a lot of the fish are going to be doing the same type of thing, especially on a small reservoir just like this, where it's 200 acres, it's not really deep. Same thing goes in a pond, stuff like that. If these fish are still pre-spawn, let's say they're setting up really well on rocky points, setting up well on stumps, let's say they're about to spawn, let's say they're in the backs of coves, on hard bottom, stuff like that. If the fish are about to spawn, then what I look for is the backs of coves. A lot of times the north side or the northwest coves warm up faster. But on a day like today where the sun's shining, I like to go to wind-blown banks because the wind's gonna blow all that warm surface water to good banks. And before I do anything in a bank, you can look at it with a graph, but it's easier just to do it the old-fashioned way. I don't think I can hit bottom here, but yeah, no, can't hit bottom here, but stick my rod tip down there and I feel the bottom composition. If it's soft bottom, I keep moving on. If it's hard bottom, if it's a nice gravel, then I'll stay there and poke around the area because bass are only really gonna spawn in that hard bottom, gravel type of areas. Or big stumps. They can spawn on big stumps and wood like that, but. So that's really all I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna just fish around. Never been to this lake before, really know nothing about it. It's small, but I'm gonna fish around and try to develop a pattern and find some fish. Might not be the best patterning lake because from what I've read online, all I could really gather is that this is not a numbers lake, it's a big fish lake. So if I get a fish, it's likely gonna be a 4 or 5 pound fish, which is really big in Indiana. Oh, that's a hog. That is a hog. Thank God for good hooks. Come here, girl. Woohoo! Mission accomplished. All right, look at that saucy girl. Mission accomplished. There's a fat fish. Whew. That got my heart racing. Right off that stump. Pitched it in there and she went crazy. Just crushed it. Had this girl in the water. Just relaxing. Beautiful Southern Indiana big pre-spawn bass. This ain't nothing like the 6, 7, 8 pounders in Texas. But this is about, it don't get much better than this in Southern Indiana. Look at that belly. Awesome. Never been in this lake before, first time fishing it. And I caught a little slaunch. Tail's not red yet. I don't think she's spawning. I think she's still just staging. What a gorgeous fish. Beautiful fish, we're gonna let her go. There she goes. Awesome. Oh, it feels so good. I was questioning potentially leaving this place because this is the first cut I've really fished in, but I fished in here for a while and haven't had a bite. But got one little one and one big one now. So now I'm just, again, every bite you're figuring out the pattern more and more and more. All right, so that's awesome news. A big fish like that is never a chance event. You don't catch those fish by chance. They're on a piece of cover for a reason. So that fish was halfway into a cut. I can see there's a little point right there that the wind is cutting across and creating an eddy right behind it. So that fish was in an eddy and it was right next to a stump and a bush, halfway back in a cut. So now I can go up and down the lake and go into creek arms and look for stuff like that. I can look for stuff like eddies, like a little pocket that's out of the wind because that's where that fish hit. I can look for big stumps, like bushes, stuff like that. I just started going up this shoreline. I went down this whole one to right here, didn't have anything, but it was a very steep shoreline. A lot of times you can tell what the slope is under the water by looking above the water, obviously. So you see right there, it's got a pretty steep slope on the shoreline. So it only goes up like 20 feet, but it's still a steep slope. Here, very gradual. So that tells me that this is a lot flatter of a bank than that one, which is a better bank to really warm up on and feed before the pre-spawn, or before the spawn, rather. It's good. I don't know about you guys, but I always like fishing new bodies of water. I like exploring. I love the outdoors. That's why I love fishing. That's why I have this channel, because I love the outdoors. I love seeing new things in the outdoors. So when you go to the same lake for, same 2-3 lakes for 3 years straight, you got to switch it up, you know? You got to do something new. I love figuring out new bodies of water, figuring out the bite. It's awesome to me. And a lot of times going to old lakes, you can get stuck in bad habits, stuff like that. And you're not always fishing the current conditions, you're fishing spots you've caught them in the past, stuff like that. And what I was flipping, I'm sure some of you are curious, this is just like I got it in my Mystery Tackle Box Pro. It's just called a Buddha Baits. I don't know, it's like an 8-9 inch worm, reeks of garlic, nice big profile, 1/2 ounce weight. These fish that are up here, they're hungry. They're not messing around really, so I have no problems giving them a big meal, especially in the dirty water like this. I like for them to see it. They can see this worm, they can smell it, they know exactly what's there. There's one. That's a good one. Oh, it's another big one. Oh yeah. I'm gonna net this guy. I have a net. Why would I not use it? Ah, so close, but so far. No! 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 Oh my. God, that, ooh. How did I lose that fish? That was like a 5 or 6 pounder. That one was even bigger than the first one. Ah. I know that was my fault, but I don't know what I did wrong. I missed on the first scoop. That fish destroyed this crankbait. A missed fish like that's always gonna sting, but pouting about it and getting psyched out is not gonna bring it back. So the only thing to really do is forget about it and try to duplicate it. Saw that point, but again, I'm still figuring out the pattern. Saw the point, see it's kind of deeper. This is a main lake point. Saw that big structure of wood. I love throwing crankbaits off of wood, and wow, did that fish crush it when it went off a log. The problem with the pattern is that I'm pretty sure I'm on like the big fish pattern. I'm sure I could be throwing like a shaky head and stuff around points and catching fish like that, but it seems like the big ones are gonna be on those really good looking main lake laydowns and stumps and pockets and stuff like that. Oh, well, there was a little one, but again, missed him. Might just title this video "Swing and a Miss." Oh. Now that is long line in them. That's just a little dink. I'll put him back. God, that the bass in this lake seem to be 8 inches or like 5-6 plus pounds. That is so weird. Well, what I did with that fish, I don't know if you guys could hear or see, but before I did that, I'm fishing this cove, and like I said in the beginning, I'm always looking for water that they'll spawn in. A lot of this lake is mud bottom, but this is all gravel bottom. And literally after I picked that up, that fish, little fish had it. But again, he was on a stump. By now, I'm kind of sure they're on stumps. This whole shoreline looked good. It's all flooded buckbrush. I can basically skip it and just fish the stumps because that's basically what they're on. I mean, I've been fishing brush like that all day and they're only on stumps. Interessante. I'm running out of worms. All right, I'll be sure to land the next big one I catch. Dude, I was crying. Oh, there we go. How big is it? Oh, it's not that big. He's like wrapped. Oh, that's why. I'm on the phone with Jack. Hold on, Jack. I'm on the phone with Jack. That fish, I thought it was so big. The line was wrapped around its gill. It was just another like 12-incher. I ended up fishing out to the back of this cove, and there's some like water running, and that's where he was. Whew. Jack, you should have came out.
Yeah, I know.
All my fans are missing you. Well, guys, I'll be honest. The last 3-ish hours, I'm defeated. The bite like died or something. I fished the same type of structure that I was getting bites on all day. Clouds rolled through, the wind switched, and now I can't get a bite. I haven't had a bite, so it's an hour drive back home, and we're an hour before sunset, so I got to bounce. I'm gonna talk to you guys in the car and kind of wrap up the day, but as for fishing, that's it. So I didn't talk to you guys in the car at the end of this video. I kind of just wanted to get out of there. I was wiped, I was exhausted, I was beaten. That really wraps up the video. I got an exciting next few videos coming up for you guys because I'm actually fishing a tournament on a lake that I've done very well at the past. I'm gonna be able to break down tournament fishing and how I go about it. Same concept as finding fish the video just made. In addition to that, I'm also gonna stop at Jack's house. We're gonna show his lure making station and how he makes lures. So that's gonna be a couple really cool videos for you guys. So excited to finally have my camera back. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you next time.